Hello kiddos, and welcome to my flipped classroom. Instead of doing our magic lens in the room, we're going to try doing it this way. Well, we're going to do a video, and I'll do my best to make it as entertaining and painless as possible. As opposed to just doing it in the classroom, you'll sort of get to use this here and jump around, fast forward, rewind, pause as you go through and copy down the notes. I think that'll make things easier on you. You should have a copy of the notes from the classroom. If not, you can go to my website. And in order to get there, all you have to do is go to homework, and then grammar, and then there should be Magic Lens, and look for the Magic Lens notes, and you can download them, type on them, write on them, print them, however you want to go about doing it. But you're going to need to have a paper copy that goes into your notebook so we can keep it nice and safe. This is what your Magic Lens notes are going to look like. What we're going to end up doing is I'm going to go through and give you the notes, and you are going to go through and write down the information, and you'll just do the little scribbly stuff and write the words as you go through there, and we talk about it to sort of help you out. And then once we get all done, you'll just sort of save it and keep it somewhere in a good place, and that way as we go over and talk about grammar, it'll make your life a lot easier. Magic Lens is how we're going to be taking a look at grammar from here all the way through high school. You'll use it this year, you'll use it again next year, you'll use it all throughout high school. And essentially, grammar's way of thinking about language. Magic Lens is our way of taking a look at grammar and how we see it from there. We're going to try and keep it simple for you to make it as easy as possible. There are going to be 8 parts of speech that we're going to be taking a look at as we go through and do all of this. This is the main thing that we're going to be focusing on. There are sentence patterns, but we're not going to focus on those really yet. There are phrases and there are clauses. The patterns, phrases, and clauses will come in a later one once you have a bit more of a grasp of how all the parts of speech work. Here are your parts of speech. The main ones, you've seen all of these before. They should not be anything new. We've already talked about nouns when we went through and talked about similes and metaphors. Pronouns, things that replace your nouns. Adjectives, describey words. We talked about that at the very beginning. We had to do your project. Verbs are the action things. Adverbs are sort of like adjectives, but work towards verbs overall. Conjunctions, they're going to be the glue that puts your sentences together. Prepositions are just all the fancy words. And then you're going to have interjections. And interjections are just like yay, wow, we, stuff like that, where you just interject into a conversation. For each one of these, on that notes sheet you're going to see, we're going to write down what the definition is and then its job, as in the sentence, what is it can do for you. You're going to need to write these down and know them, so when we start going over them in class, they'll show up on quizzes, they'll show up on assignments, they're going to show up on bell works. Being able to refer back to these will make your life a lot easier. Alright, definition of a noun. You should know this, but it is going to be a person, a place, a thing. You could probably also write down the word idea, even though it's not technically listed. I think it's probably an idea out there. Like love is an idea, or knowledge. So you can do person, place, thing. Put an idea if you want to, just to make life easier. Its job, it'll either be the subject of a sentence, meaning it is doing all of the action, or it's going to be the object of a sentence, meaning it receives an action. So either it will be the subject doing the action, or it's going to be the object receiving the action. And what we can do from there is we'll go through and take a look at a couple examples that help you out. If at any time you need to, you can always pause this, and then you're more than welcome to write it down and then catch back up. That way I don't have to pause as we go through. You pause it when you want to and then keep going from there. So as an example, take a look at the sentence, Mr. Brovicast threw. Well, to help you out, we'll do baby stepping together. First off, what's your noun in that first sentence? Good job. That is Mr. Brovicast. That would be me. Is it doing it or is it receiving it? Well, Mr. Brovicast is doing the action, so he is going to be the subject. In the next one, we have 2 nouns. Your 2 nouns are, I figure it's like a teaching class. I leave it open, and you can play along in your head, be like, I know what the answer is, and you can sort of throw it in there. Probably shouldn't say it out loud. People are going to think you're crazy, but it's all good. I know. Also, my sentences are on point, and it's okay to be a little bit jealous. Anyway, second sentence. Mr. Broviac is going to be your first noun. Your second noun is going to be bear. Mr. Broviac is your subject, so that is its job. The bear has something being done to it, so it is the object. So subject is Mr. Broviac, bear is your object. Third sentence, Mr. Broviac hurled the frothing chipmunk at the student. That'd just be fun. You actually have 3 different nouns in this one. First off, you have Mr. Broviac as your first noun. Second noun is, good job, put your finger on it. Oh, you paused it, you're silly. And your third one, student. So you have Mr. Broviac is going to be your subject, frothing chipmunk is going to be your object on that one. And then this one is part of a prepositional phrase because at's a preposition, but we'll worry about that later. That's it with nouns. Find the noun. It's a person, place, and thing or idea. No, does it do the action? In that case, it's a subject. Or is it receiving the action, meaning something is done to it? In that case, it's the object if something is being done to it. I'm wrestling the bear. I'm hurling the chipmunk. So, gives you an idea. One more, just see if we can locate what our nouns are in the first sentence. Mr. Baker taught the students some crazy brand new math concepts. What's your first noun? Put your finger on it. Sure, why not? Or just listen to my melodic voice as I go through and do it. Either one's fine with me. First one, did you find Baker? Go you. Next one should be students. And then you also have concepts. And you're going to have what's your subject, which one is doing the action. Nicely done. And what is your object, something being done to it. Students, because it has something done to it. And then concepts we're not going to worry about for now. And the last one, Katy Perry danced and sang on stage while her backup singers sprayed the audience with cotton candy. Man, if we were doing this together, we could be doing some impact learning. I would love to do impact learning right now and just try to scare you by like slamming my desk while I'm doing it and having you jump out of your... But I don't know if you're getting it right or wrong. So if you get it wrong, slam your own desk and scare yourself. So here you have, what is it? Your first noun is Katy Perry. And then your next noun, stage. And then you have singers. And then audience and cotton candy. I know, it feels like we're playing along together here, helping out the examples. If you know all these things, you can skip them. If not, then I'm trying to help you out because it's going to be on the quiz coming up and things like that. So I got to point you out. Which one of these is going to be the subject that does all the action? Katy Perry. And then which one's going to be your object? I'm going to go the audience is having something done to it because she's on a stage, preposition, and then while. So anyway, we'll stick with those two. Nicely done. That is a lot of circling. And let's just randomly draw a picture of a person just for the fun of it. And we're going to put a hat on him and a smiley face. And then we're going to give him a cane with a stick on top. Why? Because we can. Next up, that was all for nouns. Let's take a look at pronouns. A noun that has gone professional. Hence, it is a pronoun, meaning it has lost its amateur status. Haha, grammar joke. That's the only grammar joke that exists. All right, definition. It takes the place of a person, a place, or a thing. Essentially, it just replaces them. So you're going to be replacing a person, place, or thing. You should know this once again. Its job, same thing as a noun. It is going to be the subject of a sentence, or it is going to be the object of a sentence. One of those two things. You will want to write down all of these different examples that are down here, because those are going to make your life much easier, because those are sort of the main different examples that we're going to be using. And if you have them written down, you can use them. If you don't have them written down, it's going to make your life tougher. So pronouns, he, she, her, him, it, they, them, us, we, I, those are going to be pronouns. There might be a couple other ones out there, there, something like that, but it gives you the same idea. Let's take a look at this one. Couple sentences. When the chipmunk finishes the race, he will go there tomorrow. So then we're going to have what is be our pronoun. In this one, go back to your previous one if you need to use your examples to make life a little bit easier on you. And you should have he. Then, To know if you're using your pronoun correctly, what is he referring to? What noun did the he replace? And then you draw a little arrow and say it goes to the chipmunk. Ta-da! Just like that. Next sentence. Brovicorns. They are the worst of all magical creatures. What is going to be your pronoun? They. Now, what is it they, that word is replacing? That's when you draw your little arrow to the Brovicorns, just like that. Well done. Who is going to eat it? In this case, what is going to be your pronoun? It. And what is it going to be replacing? In this case, we don't know. Probably depends on what was going on in another sentence. And then the last one, what is going to be our pronoun? You. And who is you replacing? Well, hopefully we know it is referring to you. I don't know, whoever you would be, the person that is going to the concert or something along those lines. Nicely done. Moving on to verbs. With verbs, here our definition is going to be showing a state of being, linking verbs. Examples: am, is, are, was, were, has, have, had. These are examples you are going to want to write down, because once again, if you have them written down, then you get to use them on tests and quizzes to make your life quite a bit easier. And then linking verbs are the same thing as helping verbs. I also will call these quite often boring verbs, because they don't really show action, so they're going to be kind of boring. So as long as you have the idea, the linking verbs are going to be the boring verbs, because they're going to make you go to sleep. You have am, is, are, was, were, has, have, had would be examples. There's, once again, other examples besides those, but those are sort of the main ones you're going to need to have an idea of. Then you're also going to have action verbs, and then action verbs are going to be the ones, look at that, skills. Action verbs show a person having action. We're going to have transitive and intransitive, but we're not going to worry about those right now. For now, I'll be happy when you figure out which ones are the action verbs and which ones are the boring verbs. And then eventually we'll move up to these. So for now, don't worry about that. We'll save that for another day. For now, just know that verbs can show action. And when they show action, it means that they're doing something, whether it's going to be jumping or falling or raining or smacking. Smack. Can't draw a smack. You'll have to deal with it. Their jobs. The verb's job is to give information about what a noun is doing. Just like that. Whatever it is the action. Essentially, the action for the action verbs, even if it's going to be a linking verb or the boring verbs, it's just telling you more about what that verb is doing, what it is up to in some way. Here is our first couple sentences. Take a look at them. In our first sentence, you have Mrs. Randall jumped. What's our verb? Nicely done. My question is this going to be an action verb, or is it going to be a boring linking verb? If it's an action verb, it does something. If it's a boring linking verb, it's one of those ones from that example list. And this, action verb. Next one, Mrs. Randall smacked the bad child. Once again, what is our verb in this one? Smacked. Is that an action, or is it going to be a boring linking verb? In this case, once again, action verb. Getting smacked is an action. Ooh, we have two in our next one. Mrs. Randall lost the contest, the high five competition, when she ninja punched a kid through a wall on accident. Things I would like to see. Our two verbs in this one. What is our first verb? Is correct. Lost. At least I'm assuming you got correct. Like if you pointed to contest or high five competition, then you're wrong. You should smack your desk and make yourself jump. Our second one, a little bit tougher. Our next example would be punched. Well, in this case, ninja punched, which is like a normal punch, but even better because you don't see it coming. And on these two, are they going to be action or are they going to be linking? You're right. Lost is action. At least once again, I'm assuming you're right because you're pretty smart when you're listening to this. Go you. I'm proud of you. Hey, high five on that one. Good job. And then ninja punched would be action. Come on, ninjas have to be action. There's no way that's going to be a linking verb. You're on point. Look, on point. That's a mountain. And that's you right here because you're on point. Grammar. Our next examples. Verbs. Mrs. Thorpe is the greatest principal. This is actually true. She is the greatest principal. And in this case, what is our verb going to be? But Mr. Broviac, you say, I can't find an action. You're right. Go back and take a look at that list of ones we had before. And in that case, which one from that list would it be? And the answer is. Well done. It is going to be is on that one. And that is going to be a linking / boring verb. Our next sentence. The best movie of 1986 was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That is also quite true. And what would be our verb? Was. Nicely done on that one also. And here was is going to once again be a linking / boring straight from the list. The last one, we have a little mix coming up. It says, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. That is from the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Great movie. If you've not seen it, you should definitely go out and take a look at it. It was pretty good stuff. Anyway, here, what is our first verb going to be? And in this case, it's going to be moves. Then if you don't, so that would be do. In that case would be a verb. Stop would be our next one. Look would be our next one. Miss. Look at that. Crazy. And then what are going to be our linking, which one are action? Go through the first one. Moves is action. Do. Do not. I'm going to go with linking / boring. Stop. Action. Look. Action. Miss. Action. Such excitement. Yay, grammar. Adjectives. The definition of an adjective is describes, gives information about either a noun or a pronoun. So you're going to be giving me information about either one of those. So describes, and it'll be describing either one of those. What is the job? Well, it's going to tell us either which one, what kind of, or how many. So it's going to tell you which one, this job, or sorry, let's say this monkey or that monkey, what kind of monkey, a big monkey, small monkey, angry monkey, or it can tell you how many, 12 monkeys, many monkeys, a few monkeys. And those are all going to be the jobs, so to answer those questions. Now, taking a look at more examples here, Mr. Baker taught the students some crazy brand new math concepts. What would we have as our examples for this? We're going to have some was your first one, crazy was your next one, brand new, and math. The other thing you have to be able to do with adjectives is be able to tell me what noun they're describing. Some concepts, crazy concepts, brand new concepts, math concepts. So all of them go there. Our next sentence. We saw this sentence before. Let's try it again. Whee! Katy Perry, a pop icon, danced and sang on her elaborate stage while her backup singers sprayed the audience with fake cotton candy. So what is going to be our first one? Adjective-wise, describing word, pop. And then our next one is her. Did you pick up on that one or did you miss it? I bet you missed it. If you did get it, high five yourself. Go you. Next one. Elaborate. Next up. Did you catch her again? Because you were so smart the last time. I bet you did. You learned. I'm proud of you. I get all tingly. And then back up. And then we have one more, technically maybe two. Fake and cotton kind of goes along with candy, so I count that as a big compound noun. So I wouldn't worry about that one. We're not going to use it. Let's make that disappear. So I'll go no on there. Then, what is each adjective describing? Pop goes to icon. Her describes her what? Stage. Elaborate what? Stage. Her what? Singers. The backup what? Singers. And fake what? Cotton candy. Man, looks like little birds everywhere, like flying around. Fly around, little birds, fly around. Sorry. And that's when I draw all over it. Feels like I'm making like football plays. And he's going to go over here and put the circle there. Sorry, got distracting. Next, adverbs. Adverbs are like adjectives, but they're going to be adjectives that describe verbs or other adjectives or other adverbs. But usually what they're going to do is tell us more information about a verb in some way. So it describes a verb, it can describe an adjective, and it can describe an adverb. But describing verbs is going to be the main thing we're going to end up doing. So it's like an adjective, but for verbs. Pretty simple stuff. The job it has is going to tell us when something happens, tonight, tomorrow, something like that. Where something happens, it happens here or there. How something happens, he jumped quickly, he jumped slowly, so it's telling you how he did it, why he did it, and I can't think of a word for that one right now, and to what extent. So he did it completely. He completely jumped over it. Something along those lines. When, where, how, why, to what extent. Ooh, one more thing to help you out, to give yourself a little bonus. Adverbs almost always end in the same two letters. Like 90% of all adverbs end in the same two letters. What are the two letters every adverb ends in? I would write this down to help you out. L-Y. Almost all of them end in ly. Madly, quickly, stupidly, smartly, ugly. No, that's a trick. Ugly is an adjective. Ha ha ha. But most of them end in ly, so hopefully that helps you out. All right, back to our next sentence. We have, Mr. Baker taught the students some crazy, brand new math concepts yesterday. So for here, you're going to be able to tell me which one of these is going to be an adverb. It's a little tough, I will agree. On this one, there is no ly, so you cannot look for the ly on here. Here's your hint in the sentence. It's telling you when it is happening. If it tells you when, it counts as an adverb. So which one of these words is going to be telling you when? Boom goes the dynamite. Yesterday, that tells you when. Ooh, kind of looks like a crown. Our next sentence. In episode 2 of Star Wars, Yoda crazily flipped around Count Dooku while swinging his brightly colored lightsaber. Well, we have 2 on this one, and to help you out, once again, you can go back to this hint, and it'll guide you in the right direction. What are our 2 going to be? The first one, crazily, and our second one, brightly. Crazily and brightly. Because they both end in that ly to sort of help you out. And adverbs, much like adjectives, should be able to go back and you can connect them to a verb or an adverb or something like that. What is it they're describing? So in the first sentence, when you have yesterday, yesterday connects to what verb? Here's your hint. What happened yesterday? What is it Mr. Baker did yesterday? Oh, Mr. Brovicast, Mr. Baker taught yesterday. So it goes back to that one. In the second sentence in episode 2, Yoda crazily flipped around Count Dooku while swinging his brightly colored lightsaber. Crazily modifies what word? Gives you more information about what? Flipped. His flipping was crazy. How about brightly? And brightly? Did you go to lightsaber and say brightly lightsabered? Well, you're wrong. So wrong. Bad child. Bad. Arg. This is me being angry. Because brightly cannot modify a noun. And lightsaber is a noun. So you can't do that. horrible, horrible child. Now look at me having to erase all of this information here. Oh, is it not erasing that one? It won't erase that one. I blame you children. You're all... Anyway, back to here. So brightly modifies what word? Brightly is going to modify colored. Brightly colored. Because they're saying what kind of colors are they? They are bright colors. So the brightly modifies that. Kind of tricky. Alright. Conjunctions are our next one. In conjunctions, all they do is connect. Essentially, the conjunctions equal glue. You are going to use them to glue two sentences together. You're going to have sentence, conjunction, sentence. It'll make more sense in just a moment. Why? So its job is either going to be coordinating for connecting like items or subordinating, connecting unlike items. Once again, we'll get there. This is going to be a bit more high-level stuff for thinking, and we'll explain more when we get to it in just a moment, but you'll figure it out. So coordinating, this is going to be our main one that we're going to deal with. This is going to be like, I don't know, 90% of all of ours are going to be coordinating, because there's going to be something we're going to use to help you out. And that is Fanboys. This thing right over here. Because coordinating, you have a total of 7 different coordinating conjunctions that you can use that you're going to look for. And that's going to be for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And using those letters, you get Fanboys, which makes it easy for you to remember. So if you go through there, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. See? Looks just like that. Ooh, that looks like a football. And here's someone's hands going out to catch the football. With the legs going back over here. Ooh, body's disconnected. Put the head there. Nicely done. Football. So that's to help you out. And then subordinating are the other ones, but we'll worry about that later for now. These are the main ones I want you focusing on, the Fanboys, and being able to figure that out. Hey, now on to prepositions. Prepositions, remember when you had to memorize that preposition song, and you had like after, before, and under, and beneath, that thing? I don't know the song myself, it's a beautiful one, but those are going to be prepositions, and they're going to show a relationship in one form or another. So there's not much I can do besides just having you memorize all of them, which is why I think you had to memorize them last year, but those will hopefully come back to you at some point, where you have the words like, after he fell, before you go. So under the boat. So those are all prepositions where it's just showing a relationship, something along those lines. And then interjections, and what an interjection is going to be is something almost always ends with an exclamation mark and goes by itself, where you go, oh, or wow, or boom, goes the dynamite. So that's, sorry, we're not to interjections. Ignore all of that. Let me go back. I jumped. We're doing the preposition of the job. I got so excited about the silly interjections, which I know are coming next. Man, look at that, trying to make you learn incorrectly. Now you'll know what's coming up in a moment. And back to normal learning. Preposition's job is give adjective or adverb information. It just tells you more about them. Like when it says, look, there is something under here. Under is going to be your preposition. Or I'm going to put this hat on this box. Or my hand is over this. And so over, on, below, under, those are all going to be different examples of prepositions. Interjection! Did you see this coming? Were you as excited as I was for all of that? Alright, interjections. Now is where we get to interjections, and you get to go in there. They show emotion. This is where you get to the word wow, exclamation mark. You are almost done with this whole thing. Boom. That was the best flipped learning thing I've ever heard. Dang. Exclamation mark. I would certainly hope to do these kind of notes again, something along those lines. That's it. These are your notes. There's other ones we can deal with later on when we introduce clauses and phrases, but that's going to be for another day. And I figure for now, this is enough to make sure that we know what's going on, and then eventually we'll do the other ones. The job for interjections is none. They don't really have a job whatsoever. They just sort of show emotion and get all excited, but they're completely worthless in a sentence, and you can pull them out and it won't change anything. And then, roar! There's just a random picture of demon children to try and scare you because they're adorable. Let's put little horns on this one, and horns on this one, and we'll put a little beard here, and just a little beard here. And let's say she's holding an apple, and this one is also holding an apple, just because it'd be fun to do. Yay! Alright, good luck, and we'll see how well you knew all this information in the future.